Hey dog sport handlers, welcome to the Canine Handler Fitness Podcast. I'm your host, Liz Joyce, your go-to expert for all things dog sport fitness. Whether you're running agility, doing protection work, tackling search and rescue, handling a tough tugger, or just looking to build strength for a lifetime of adventures with your dog, remember, you are half the team, and I'm here to help you stay strong, mobile, and injury-free. Join me as I break down the unique demands of handler fitness, speed, strength, endurance, and everything you need to perform at your best, both in and out of the ring. Let's stay strong, stay in the game, and keep doing what we love. Let's dive in. Hey y'all, I'm really excited for you to listen in on this conversation with Laura Bussing today. I think there's a huge amount of value in learning from other people's perspective, their tools, and Laura has a lot of them. She has some really great nuggets in here too, being a professional agility coach and handler, and she's got a really fancy little trick about how she sets up sprints so she can multitask while working her dogs at the same time, which I love. Laura's using agility as a reason to stay fit so she can explore the world around her in big ways, and I hope you enjoy our chat today. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm so excited to have Laura Bussing here today. She is a very experienced handler that has kicked up her handler fitness and is seeing some great progress. And I'm looking forward to diving into that with her. So Laura, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a bit about what you do and who your dogs are?
Thank you, Liz, for having me. I'm so excited to finally get to have a great conversation with you. I'm Laura Bussing. My company is Canine Culture. I present seminars in person and I have a big online classroom. Most people know me as a agility behavior specialist. I'm a specialist that deals with behavior problems with agility dogs. I travel the country and I teach seminars in ring stress and arousal management and, of course, various handling and canine fitness as well. I also compete, and I'm also a UKI judge. I compete in UKI and I compete in ISC events, and I've had on my mental whiteboard for a long time that I want to get as good as I possibly can in dog agility because I really enjoy it. And yes, I'm a competitive person. I have 3 border collies at the moment. Rain, who's 9.5, Cam, who's 7.5, and my youngest Whoopi is 2.5. Rain is we're still running on occasions. She's not as competing as much, but she is a super strong dog. She's super healthy, and I don't foresee any time in the near future that she and I will stop playing the sport together. Cam has been my main competition dog for many years, and I have just recently decided that we were done with him pursuing competing for world team tryouts. He's a big dog, and jumping 24 inches, I think, is just a little too much for him at this age based upon how heavy he is, and he's a 45-pound dog, and I have a younger dog coming up. So I've taken Cam down to 20 inches, and we are still competing and having a great time together. And then my main focus is with Whoopi. She'll be jumping 24 inches, and we're having a great time together. And I love training her. I love everything about her. She's extremely spicy. She's like a dragon, and she's very fast, and she's extremely athletic, naturally flexible. But I don't take that for granted. So I work a lot on my dog's fitness. I'm a certified canine fitness trainer. I work on their fitness a lot. And I also recognize that I'm an athlete. I pretty much have been a professional athlete most of my life. So that's what I'm up to. I love everything about dog agility. You could even say I'm a bit of an agility junkie.
I've yet to meet someone who does agility that isn't an agility junkie. I'm not sure that's a thing. So tell me, Laura, what happened for you that made you want to take your fitness seriously, specifically for handling? Or were you already working out, and how did you change your approach to make it more agility specific?
To go back, I've always been fitness oriented because I've been an athlete my entire life. I was a tomboy growing up, so I played all kind of sports and I competed in equine sports. So like a lot of people in dog agility, I used to do horses. I also played high school and some college softball. And then I got into motorsports and I was a sponsored athlete and won a national championship. Was also a five-time member of Team USA during my 30s. And then still always fitness was important. I also worked as a national park ranger for many years and I was involved with extreme work activities like search and rescue and wildlife management and backcountry law enforcement. And you have to be in amazing physical condition to do that job. In fact, they make you do physical fitness testing. They have you checked out by doctors. You have to pass physical medical exams and stuff. I've always been in good shape. I love to run. I love to trail run. So I used to do a tremendous amount of trail running and I stayed strong all throughout my life. But as I got more heavily involved in dog agility and started trying out for world teams and running harder courses, and of course I'm aging, right? I really noticed that I needed to do something a bit differently. And I really noticed this after the European Open team tryouts in 2021. There were places where I couldn't get to. And running these types of European courses as well, I was not as experienced in. So I needed to get faster and I needed to be sprinting more. And that's what, like, I think maybe just only a few months after that is when I found you in 2022, I want to say. And yeah, it was running a big course and not being able to show my dog the sequence.
That happens to a lot of people. That's kind of a bit of a light bulb moment. Like, I really thought I was going to be able to get to that spot and I just couldn't. So now that you're working out and have added sprints into your life, and we're going to talk about some of the creative ways that you do that in Hot Sec, I want to know about what aspects of your dog sport performance have you noticed improvements since you've been focusing on your fitness?
I'm definitely faster and I can make direction changes quicker than I used to. That's those are like the top two that really come to me. And I'm not out of breath at the end. And I feel that overall, in general, that I'm stronger than I have ever been before. And that
Yeah,
the big thing is that I feel very fortified with the whole injury prevention thing. I
that's a
feel
big.
like I've just have made big leaps with that. I do more specific warm-ups and cool downs than what I used to do before. And honestly, Liz, before you, like I say, I've been an athlete my whole life. I played high school sports, you name it, volleyball, basketball, softball was my big thing where you have to run your butt off around everywhere, right? But no one ever taught me the specific running mechanics until I got involved with you. And so I really appreciate that. And it's, no one's ever shown me this before. And at whatever age I'm at, but I'm like, wow, this makes a difference.
It's probably been cool for you too because you are such an athlete and have been such an athlete. You must pick up movement patterns quicker than the general population. So that must have been pretty, like, I just picture your body like a sponge, just taking lessons in and rolling with them. Was that your experience of it?
It was definitely. And there were some things that you said to me or that in your programming that I read that really stuck with me. And one of them was like when you're sprinting, is thinking about your foot tearing up the grass as you are striding. When your front of your forefoot comes down, think about you're tearing away with the grass as you're sprinting. And that really, that helped. It was a good visual for me, and it reminded me of someone, a ski coach from eons ago, who I was having a hard time learning how to like parallel ski and stuff like that. And they said something that made perfect sense to me. It's like, on your downhill ski, plant your boot and pretend like you're squashing a cockroach and twist your ankle. And I'm like, oh my God, that is brilliant. Why didn't someone tell me to smash cockroaches before? And I immediately got it. And all of a sudden I looked like a skiing pro. That's how I
So,
felt about your analogy about ripping the grass with your feet. That was
so it
cool.
sounds like there's a common theme of if there's a bit of an aggressive element, Laura
Yes,
picks things up very quickly.
exactly.
So we were talking a little bit ago about how you set your sprints up so you can bring your dogs into it. And can you tell people what that looks like? Because I just thought this was so cool.
Oh, so when I do some of my sprint training, on occasion, not all the time, but on occasion, I'm like, okay, my dogs need a little bit of a workout, and I would like to work on them driving ahead of me, because in all the things I compete with, especially in UKI, your dog is at the big events. Your dog is going to finish on a line driving away from you, and you don't want them to head check you. So I'll set up my sprints parallel to my dogs having like a line of 4 jumps. And I start my sprint with looking at my dog so I can rotate, and I release them and I release myself, and off we both run. And of course, the dogs are passing me, but I have my arm out and I am giving them their go on verbal as I'm sprinting. And yeah, so that's how I incorporate a little bit of dog training while I'm doing sprint training that is more like real life that I need for when I am handling, because I must run giving my dogs verbal and physical cues.
Yeah, and that's a different beast than running in a straight line, as we know. And I just love that too because you can the picture's the same for the dog. So I imagine that's going to be so much easier for them to take up in a busy, energetic environment. I just love your creativity about that. And I know you're an instructor and work with people all over the country, online and in person. And you have a unique perspective. You and I both see a lot of handlers moving a lot of different ways. And I'd love to know from your perspective, what fitness, I'm going to say gaps and use that word, and like what fitness gaps do you notice the most often in your clients? And do you intervene to help them with those challenges, or do you accommodate the course for them? Or how do you help people through that when you see things in their movement patterns that could be improved and improve their handling?
Mostly, a lot of what I see could be just a general lack of fitness and agileness. So, how I like to intervene is carefully, and because I don't want to be pointing something out. Hey, you need to get in better shape. So I'm not going to say that to anyone. But what I do say is that I see you're that you're not moving quite as well as maybe you could. Are you What kind of things do you do for your agility handler fitness? And ask them that. But mostly I'm encouraging them to think of themselves and label themselves as an athlete. And I think once you get them to really look at themselves through the lens that they are an athlete, then I feel that they start making a little bit of changes themselves. But for a lot of my programming, I don't have any human fitness programmed in. I have dog fitness programmed in, but not human fitness. But I just like to encourage them to think about themselves in a different mindset and to be in a growth mindset versus, because many people come to me in my online classes that are having problems with their dogs doing behavioral specialty type work, and that they are very results oriented and they're not process oriented folks. They don't have a growth mindset. They're all about, a lot of times, about they got to get the title, they got to get the cue, or they're trying to make invitationals to get invited for that. And they are moving fast and missing some foundations along the way, a lot of times for their dog and a lot of times for themselves. They've really pushed themselves and they've not taken into account the athleticism that is needed in agility. But then there's also, it's important for people that have mobility issues, really bad hips or bad knees, that they're not going to be able to move as well. And that's fine. Agility is for all of us, but to make the most of what you do have. And if you are not going to be able to move as well, then we need to add additional training to your dog so your dog has more independent skills and that you can just direct them from wherever you are, but you still want to be able to use the amount of fitness and mobility that you have to the most of. And sometimes they're not always thinking about, I can't run. Well, you can move faster in certain areas and move slower in certain areas because people still need to show acceleration, maybe, and deceleration for their dogs. And all that means is just walking slightly faster, or just a little bit more of a movement in certain places that will be advantageous. But those are generally the things that I see, and I just try to support my students, and let them know you are an athlete, and prioritize your health. I think that's the big thing, is that they really need to prioritize their health. Let's not even think about dog agility. Let's think about your health. Let's think about your everyday life, of how well you get around in everyday life. Walking through the grocery store, or wanting to do something with your grandchildren or your kids, what have you. It's just prioritize your health.
That's great. And I love that you both gently encourage, but also accommodate for people, because that is a reality that people do have, bodies that sometimes really can't move that well because of chronic pain or injuries or whatever it is, surgery, recovery. So being flexible as a coach is really important. And one thing that you just said stood out to me about people being an athlete. And one thing that I really like to encourage people to do is look at their day when they're packing to go to a trial, or they're at a trial, or it's day to day. They think about, okay, think about the things that you do for your dog on a day to day. You probably plan rest days for them. You plan decompression time. You notice when they're stressed and reduce their workload or change their environment. You pack healthy foods and hydrating fluids when you go to a trial, and you make sure that they're getting their fitness in. And can you think about those things that you do day to day and then apply that to yourself as well? And I think that's a really big part of being an athlete, or thinking about yourself as an athlete too, is just always that parallel of what would you do for your dog? You would do all of these things. So giving yourself that same compassion is huge.
Yeah, I agree that sometimes I've jokingly say that my dogs eat better than I do,
Is it a
right?
joke?
And they get more massages than I do. They get more body work. They I prioritize their health, and we also have to prioritize our health as well, because without us, they do not know where to go on the course. And a two-member team. It's a partnership. And I always think about I always want to be the best for my dogs.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that leads a lot of things in my life too. And I know that you travel a lot for training and also for events. And I'd love to get a little insight when time is tight, or you're in an RV for an extended period of time, or you're just on the road in general. What do you do to keep yourself, I'm going to use the word motivated, but also I could say on track? Like, how do you keep fitness a part of your routine when life is busy and you're not in a consistent space all the time?
That's a good question because it's quite the balance. I do live full time in a motorhome. Different times of the year, we are in places for quite a while. And so it's easier, right? And then there are times when we're traveling, when we are going down the road and I need to figure out to do stuff. I've done silly things like I've taken off running and had Tony pick me up when he caught up to me in the motorhome and just hop in. So that's weird, but we haven't done that in a while. But so I'm frequently like today I was thinking I might go sprint in a place across the highway from where we are right now because right here where the motorhome is, there's no good flat spot for me to sprint well, but there's a parking lot across the highway that's nice and flat, I think. So I'm like, I think I'm going to go over there and do sprints later. But there's been many times where I sprint on the Forest Service road that we're on, or I'm going for cardio hikes with the dogs where I'm hiking some, I'm running some, and I always can do my strength workouts and because I do those inside the motorhome. Although I do take my band outside and I strap it to like my husband's motorcycle because it's super sturdy, but there's nothing inside the motorhome that I can strap a band to. So I'm like doing a workout, then I have to pop outside and do if I'm going to do arms or something with a band. And so I just try to get creative, but I also look at doing other sometimes strength training involves other things just based upon what we're doing at the time. So, like last week, or I'll take today, we went mountain biking. So, mountain biking is interval training. I've always looked at it, which is sprint training. Sprinting is intervals because you do a sprint and then you walk back. So your heart rate is going whoop high and then low from when you back down. And so basically when you mountain bike, the same thing's happening. And I just try to incorporate different things. And then the day before, I went on a pretty epic hike where it was a big elevation gain of ascending and also at high elevation. So it was definitely a cardio workout for sure. And almost a little intervally because occasionally I needed to stop because my heart rate was so high. When you're, I pretty much start sucking wind above 11,000 feet. Uh, so it's such a
Yeah.
high elevation, and it's like I have to take breaks. And so during the breaks, it's like intervals. And so even though I'm not sprinting, cardiovascularly, I think I'm getting the same workout, but I just try to improvise, and I'm always doing my strength training inside the motorhome most of the time. So that's always available to me no matter where I am. But when we have multiple days on the road, I have to really prioritize it. And then I think my go-to thing for motivation is my whiteboard on the fridge. And so on the corner of it, I have a list. It's like a laundry list. And it's, let's see, there's sprint, strength, cardio, core, sprint written again, and mobility is on there. And so every when I do one of those things, I have this green dry erase marker and I go and I put a green check by it. And I
Yeah.
swear, doing that green check, it's like a dopamine hit. And I love being able to do that. So being able to check something off of my board of a list, I'm just like the type A personality. It's, oh my God, I haven't checked something off my list yet. I've got to get going. So I that helps me stay motivated.
That's great. And I like that you are taking care to really invest in your cardiovascular fitness, even if you're not sprinting. So I don't know that people know this, but you can build all kinds of incredible cardiovascular capacity. But after a couple of weeks, if you don't do anything, that capacity falls off a cliff real quick. And listen, you can build it back. It comes back faster the second time than it did the first for sure. And also, I hate that feeling of sucking wind really hard when I just was there. So I love that you go out biking and do things on your own to make sure that you're keeping that up at least. Then you can walk back into your sprinting at a similar fitness level that you were at before.
Yeah, I think it's just important just to keep moving. And I know that I've laid off before in the past for whatever reasons, usually for an injury or something, after 2 weeks, and it's, oh my God, it's like starting fresh. And
Yes.
I it's hard, but I love to run, and so I love sprinting, and that's why I trail run for a long time, and I still get a trail run in every now and then, but I don't know, for me personally, and this might sound weird, but for me, being able to work out and stay strong, and especially running, I equate that with being youthful for whatever reason. That being able to run, I don't want to ever lose that. I don't know how old I'll be one day when I can't run again, but I want it makes me feel really good to run.
Same. I love running for those same reasons too. And if you have it, use that, enjoy it. It feels so good. I want to know too, because you've been investing in your agility specific fitness, I'd love to know, have you noticed improvements in your life outside of agility, or have you seen mostly improvements in agility? As your athletic background you were describing before, it didn't sound like there was a lot of strength training in it. Is that something that's new for you specifically, like program strength training with weights and bands and things like that?
Think of like when I would do specific strength training, it was like sporadic, something that was more sporadic, and it's something that I didn't like invest a lot of time on. But I think one of the main things is that how fitness has really impacted my life outside of agility is that I basically can do any darn thing I want to athletically, just because now I'm like super strong all over, and I have really good cardio endurance. So it's like I can go for a heart pounding, leg burning mountain bike ride, or steep hikes with tons of elevation gain. Or like last week, I did something that was on my bucket list. I did in Ouray, Colorado, a Via Ferrata. And for the people out there that have never heard of a Via Ferrata, it means iron road in the mountains. So it's basically where on very exposed cliffs, people have gone in and have put handholds and steel things for your feet and things for you to climb on and grab onto, things for your feet to rest on. They've been drilled into the mountain, and so they've literally have created like a road that traverses a cliff, if you will. So it's called Via Ferrata. Google it. There's several in the United States, but they've always been on my bucket list. And so a really good friend of mine, Janie Bell, and I did one in Ouray, Colorado last week. So it was about 3 hours, and it literally involved climbing up. But I do want to say we were roped in every single moment on a cable. So with two different carabiners, so you were constantly, if you had to move one past a junction in the cable, you clip one up there, and then you climbed up, and then you clipped your other one up. So you're constantly moving. So it wasn't like we were going to fall. Or if you did slip, you're only going to fall maybe 2 feet of what you're there. It's called a lanyard. But anyway, a lot of climbing. So you're basically were going climbing up, times you would have to climb down, but a lot of traversing where you had to step over and you were pulling yourself up. You were using a lot of leg strength and core strength. And it's, if I wasn't as strong as I was, I would not have been able to do that. And it was
So cool.
3 hours worth of that. And I felt really incredible. It was just such an amazing experience. But it's like being able to do little things like that in life that took strength, and that I still have so many different kind of adventurous things that I like to do. But honestly, you have to be strong to do them. And doing strength train and all the cardio work, it just basically makes me fit for life and to have really good health. But yeah, I'll totally admit to, because there was so much traversing going to the left on that Via Ferrata, my left quad was in sad shape for about 3 days because it overworked. My right quad, my right leg's nothing. My upper
She's like,
body, like my lats and my triceps, I could feel those were like normally sore for a day or two. But my left quad, it was not happy for a while.
I just recently started being able to hike again and decided it was going to be faster and more efficient for me to jog down the mountain. It's easier on my body than walking down the mountain. And I had a similar experience where for 4 or 5 days after, I was like, okay, we got some work to do here. That is tender.
Yeah, and I think it's important that I love that you say that, because even though that I am pretty fit, you can, yeah, you're going to have days where you're going to have muscle soreness. And it meant that you moved. It meant that you went out there and you embraced life and you did something fun
Yeah.
and you just weren't sitting around. You moved your body. And I think that's the big thing is just move your body. That's the most important part.
Which actually leads me to my last question for you. Because you've seen such improvements in your agility handling, and I don't think it's fair to say that rock climbing adventure went on was a small thing. That's a big deal. And I'm so happy that you were able to do that. Your pictures looked like you guys had a blast, which is awesome. What advice would you give to handlers who might be intimidated to start their fitness program for agility or any dog sport? Or what advice would you give to someone who's just starting to incorporate fitness into their routine to elevate their performance, or like we've both talked about and strive for in our own lives to elevate their whole life? What advice would you give to someone?
Just move. Just start a little bit at a time. Pro Your program is especially good because you have it set up for all different levels of folks. But the cool thing about it is that programs, it gives you community and it gives you accountability in a in some respect, right? So I think that's super helpful. So just start, even though if you can't do every little thing that's in a workout, just do what you can do. And then every day is a new day. You will keep getting stronger and you will be able to do more and more. And never think about being so perfect about everything. Just think about progress and just do a little bit of it. But honestly, everyone deserves to be in the best shape of their lives. And that I think people need to think about, you deserve this, regardless of your age, your limitations, or size. But fitness is for everyone. And do it for yourself. Because when you are a bit stronger and your cardio is a bit better, we're able to show up more for people in our lives and show up more for our dogs. So just start a little and join a community. I think it's so helpful to have a community like the one that you have started, that Facebook group that you have, and the way you have your programs designed. It makes it easy. So, yeah. just a little at a time.
I love that. I encourage people to do that too. It's like you might not be able to finish it all at once, but when you can make it 3/4 of the way through, that's a big progress. And then the full way through, that's another win. So keep looking for the wins in your fitness life. And Laura, thanks so much for joining us today. Can you tell people where can they find you? And yeah, where can people find you?
Okay. On Facebook, you can find me at Canine Culture. So if you search for Canine Culture, you will find me. And I also have the Agility Culture podcast. It has a Facebook page as well. My business, you can find me on my website at canineculturecompany.com. And of course, you can always reach out to me by email. My email is my last name, Bussing, Bussingl, at gmail.com. And yeah, I'm excited to do this with you. This has been really fun and exciting to have these conversations with you. And thank you again for everything that you've done to help me with my fitness, and because it definitely was life-changing. Having someone to finally tell me how to sprint correctly. Wow, that was amazing.
You're so welcome. And this has been really cool because we've been working together on and off for a few years now, and this is our first real conversation. So it was really nice to officially actually meet you and have a real conversation with you. It's been a real pleasure. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Liz.
Thanks so much for being here with me today and choosing to spend this time investing in yourself. I hope you feel encouraged to take action. Even the smallest steps forward will add up in ways you cannot even imagine yet. If this episode gave you something to think about or lifted you up, please share it with a friend. You never know who might need these tools and reminders today. And remember, you're never alone on this. For more information, practical tools, workouts, and resources to help you get stronger and more confident both in and out of the ring, head on over to caninehandlerfitness.com. You can also find me on all the socials under the same name, so come on over and say hi. I'm here to help you build the skills, knowledge, and belief you need to reach your goals. Keep going. Keep learning. And most of all, keep showing up for yourself. You've got this, and I'm cheering you on every step of the way.